Welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. It started to get really cold here, so I'm glad that I have the fire all flued here in the shed. So I've been able to have that going during the day and keep myself nice and cozy while I've been over here working. Yeah, it went from being kind of reasonably mild to now we're getting foggy, misty mornings most mornings and cold, clear, crisp nights. So it feels like winter already, which is kind of all right. It means I guess we can start to really wear our woolens, but it feels like we've skipped a bit of autumn and gone straight into the cooler months. But you know, it is what it is. My main focus this week has been on getting Wade's mobility sorted out. Being 16, my dog I spoke about last week, it's not going to be back to normal, but I'm trying to do some things to sort of alleviate the issues that developed. So I've got him a supplement that is an anti-inflammatory and good for the joints, which I'm putting into his food. So he seems to like the supplement and not the food so much. So I'm having to change around the food all the time, but he seems to still like eat the powder that I'm putting on it. So I'm working through that with him. I realized last week after I recorded that I'd put down a piece of AstroTurf that was flat. I've got two different kinds. One's sort of got a grass sort of pile on it and the other is quite flat. Now, background here, the reason I can just go grab some AstroTurf is because friends of ours do resurfacing of sports grounds and they gave us a whole lot of AstroTurf from a ground that they had pulled up to put down a new batch of the turf. And we asked if we were able to get some from them to be able to use around the farm. And we use it in a whole lot of different areas. So we use it in the chook shed underneath where they roost, so we can just pull out the whole section and make it nice and easy to clean. We've got it at the front of the chook shed door as well to stop it from being super muddy. We're using it around our stairs and entrances to the house. And so it was easy enough for me to just go and cut a piece off to use for hopefully for a toilet for Wade. So I've switched it over to like a high pile grass piece and he has used it sometimes. Not all the time. He still wants the grass. And I understand that. It's much more interesting to go and sniff around and all that kind of thing than it is to just go, you know. So he's still interested in doing that. So it's not just a function, but he wants to sort of be out and about a little bit as well. So I'm balancing between the two. Since I've started the supplement, he seems to have loosened up a little bit, which is quite good. And I think also because he's not being forced to go down the stairs, he's not putting extra strain on his joints. So what I'm doing is I've got a gate and I'm blocking off the stairs when I'm not around so that he can just use the decking area and use the AstroTurf. And then when I am around and I see him go out, I can go with him and I can pick him up and take him down the stairs. Now I can tell he's starting to feel a bit better about himself because he's not super keen on me picking him up. He's never been one who likes to be carried. So yeah, he's starting to sort of give a little bit of a squirm when I pick him up. The first few days when I realized that he was having trouble, he was fairly like, yeah, whatever. But now he's like, oh, I'm not really super keen on this. But he's letting me do it and because he wants to get down and have that time in the grass. But I feel much better this week that he is more comfortable and feeling a little bit more back to normal, I guess. So my new yarn bases that I talked about arrived this week. So I've been doing some dyeing on those, which is exciting. I've got a new DK base that I'm working with. And this week I dyed up, I'm just looking at my drying rack here. I dyed up Gumball Machine, Sea Green, Smoke, Dusty Rose, and Nasturtium. And that is going to be coming with me to the all fibre and yarn markets on the 10th and 11th of June. So all of the stuff that I'm dyeing up between now and then is not going to be listed on my website. It is just going to be held and prepared for those markets. There is yarn available on my website. And having said that, I'm actually having a sale on my DK yarn at the moment. So if you buy 4 or more skeins of yarn, then a discount will apply to each skein. So it's a good opportunity to get in and grab a bulk quantity for a jumper, or to get a whole lot of beanies and mittens done before we get into proper winter. So I'll leave a link below to my shop so you can go check that out. I'll be only running that sale for another week, so get in quickly to grab your DK yarn now. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I'm dyeing up a lot for future markets. And it's been really great. So I've had the fire going. The other day it felt really quite weird. I came over here, stoked up the fire really hot, hung my yarn to dry, and then I went and did stuff somewhere else away from the shed. So I had the fire going for the yarn, which was great. So it's dried nice and quickly. We've had sunny days as well. So the sun coming through the glass onto the yarn, as well as the heat from the fire, has been a really nice way to get it dry nice and quick. So yeah, I'm so pleased with that. This weekend I am at Tea Time Yarn Retreat Market. Lots of other people are at Coburg, so I hope you're having a great time there. And last weekend I taught a brioche class at Unwind Craft Cafe. So busy into teaching as well as into dyeing. Lots going on, which is really exciting. This week, the only thing I've worked on is my Enkel jumper from the 52 weeks of Easy Knits. I'm loving knitting on this. I don't know if it's the yarn, if it's the pattern, if it's a combination of the two. I don't know. It's just the mood I'm in. It has had a lot of progress, and I've actually ripped it out a few times, and I'm still liking it, and I've still made a ton of progress. I'm using the Marisol Cisa yarn in the colorway Seaweed. And I'd originally gotten 5 skeins from Unwind, but when I went back the following weekend, I decided I needed to grab another 2 just to be sure, because that was all that was left in that pack, that dye lot. So I thought I'm going to grab them because I had altered the needle size, I had altered the size I was casting on, and I did not want to run out of yarn. And when I wound one of the balls on, it had a couple of knots in it. So I knew then that I kind of would end up with less yardage from that ball, because I would have to be weaving in ends and reconnecting. So I'm glad that I did, because I'm almost finished my 5th ball and I am just finishing the first sleeve. So it's going to be at least 6 to get the second sleeve done. I've already finished the body, although once I try it on, if it's a little short, I might end up undoing it and adding a bit more. I'm not entirely sure yet. I've tried it on and it feels okay. But yeah, it's looking really nice. It's really comfortable. This yarn is lovely and soft, and it really makes those ridges pop out. It's sort of a bracelet sleeve. So I'm at the point now where I'm going to put the ribbing on. I'm going to try it on one more time, but I think that's where I'm going to stop and do the ribbing. And I'm going to be doing the ribbing for the same number of rows as the gap between the purl ridges. That's what I did here on the bottom, and I think that it makes it look pretty even. It doesn't actually say in the pattern where you should do that, but I think that makes it look the same as it does at the top, at the bottom. So I didn't talk about this last week, but one of the reasons that I pulled it out originally was because when I did the short rows, it ended up with some weird little pockets, little bumps sort of on the shoulder blades. I think in the pattern, the short row turns are too close together. And I looked on Ravelry, and someone else had put that in their pattern notes as well, that they thought that the turns were too close together. I looked on the website for the book, and there is no errata for this pattern at this point. So I believe that it's a mistake, but maybe other people have knit it and it's been fine. I don't know. So I wasn't happy with that. So I've ripped it out and not done the short rows anymore. So it's the same on both sides. And that's fine, because I can block one side to be a little bit larger than the other side. And then last week I was telling you that I'd done a couple of extra increases before I split for the sleeves. And then I went back and tried it on again, and I felt like it was a bit too big. So I ripped back one lot of the increases that I'd done. So it's still bigger than what the pattern called for the size that I had, but it sort of landed itself in between, I think, the medium and the large, I think. I don't know. It's a strange number of stitches. So yeah, so I ripped back past the I think I was down to just past the sleeve split. So I ripped back, picked up the stitches, past one, like took out one of the increases and put it back on the needles, and now I'm really happy with it. So I'm glad that I did that as well. So yeah, there has been a lot of extra knitting. I think if I hadn't have pulled it out, is that 2-3 times, I probably would have been finished already. So given where I'm at now, I will probably be finished before next week. Then I'll have to find something else to knit. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.